Subscribe to our channel, Sindh TV News, and press the bell icon for the latest updates.
अस्सलाम वालेकुम नाज़रीन, सिंध टेलीवी न्यूज़ जे पारां मां आहियां जो मेज़बान फयाज़ नाइच। नाज़रीन, गुफ्तगू कंदासूं अॼु हिकिड़े इंतहाई अहम मौज़ू ते। उहो अहम मौज़ू यकीनी तौर ते बरे सग़ीर जी पार्टीशन जो मामिलो ऐं पार्टीशन जा अहम किरदार। उन हवाले सां जो कि प्रोग्राम में असां वटि मौजूदु आहिनि अमरीका मां आयल मारूफ़ स्कॉलर GB सिंह साहब। GB सिंह साहब जेको आहे बुनियादी तौर ते अमरीकन मिलिट्री में हुननि जेको आहे कर्नल जे रैंक ताईं पंहिंजो कमु कयो, पर उनखां पोइ हुननि एकेडमिशन जे तौर ते मुख़्तलिफ़ किताब लिखिया ऐं जो पसंदीदा मौज़ू ख़ासि तरह पार्टीशन ऐं गांधी रहियो आहे। अॼोकी हुनजी जेका प्रेज़ेंटेशन हुई हिते जेको इंटरनेशनल सेमिनार हुयो, उनखां पोइ जेको आहे असां हुनखां रिक्वेस्ट कई, उन टाइम ॾिनो, उन्हनि जी वॾी महिरबानी। अचो त GB सिंह साहब सां उन सॼे मौज़ू ते गुफ़्तगू कयूं। वेलकम GB सिंह इन माय talk show. I am thankful on the behalf of my channel and on the behalf of my viewers that you have given us time. And let us start. In your presentation, it was all about Gandhi. How you started digging Gandhi? Why you started digging Gandhi?
Go back, it was 1982. 1982, I was a young captain in the US Army, and I started a political science degree in public administration with concentration in ideologies. That's when I started, and my first course was communism. At that time, the Cold War was going on, and we in the United States were deeply involved with this against Soviet Union and the worldwide communism. And the war was going on in Afghanistan also at the time. So it was a big thing for us at the time. And my professor at the time, who was a consultant to President Ronald Reagan, he and I, we got very close to each other. And he began to share with me that he thought Mahatma Gandhi was a communist. And he also thought very forcefully the Prime Minister of India at the time, Indira Gandhi, was a communist. It was a shock to me, because I looked at Gandhi as a non-violent spiritual leader, though a Hindu, which I addressed that to my professor. And then, of course, he asked me questions, and I realized...
No, then the question is, if you thought that he was a non-violent spiritual leader, then why you hate him? Why you hate him?
No, see, I was born and raised in India, so we were taught how great of a man he was, how great, he was a spiritual height. And through spiritual height, the spiritual power he had, he was able to get the independence from India. I mean, this is all we were taught. So when he said he was, my professors thought that he was a communist, it violated that image of, and that's what I wanted to know. And of course, when he asked me how much I know about Hindu or being Hinduism, I realized very fast I didn't know much. But then communism, I thought I studied communism in India. But then when I started studying with him, I realized I didn't know much at all, anything. So I began to learn a whole different things. Now, with Gandhi himself, the history, that began to check when the movie came out, Gandhi movie. And I found that out Mr. Gandhi actually was Sergeant Major in the Army. That was a shock to me, biggest one. And that's where eventually my research started, that something has terribly gone wrong. Was he really a communist? Was he really a Sergeant Major in the Army? That didn't make sense to me. But then I can't dispose it off just like that. I needed to research. And that's where the research started.
So, how do you see the early life of Gandhi, especially if we start from South Africa?
Well, in South Africa, he lived there 1893 to 1914, 21 years. That's a long time. And what I found that his politics in South Africa was essentially driven by hate, racial hatred of black people.
Black people.
That's right. Majority of the people in South Africa, black people, and they were subjugated. They were the ones actually suffering. So Mr. Gandhi started to foment hatred against them. And that is a shocking revelation. Why would he spread hate against these people? They have done no harm to Indians. They had done no harms to Mr. Gandhi. So why would he go and foment hatred? That's what the evidence started to bring about. And I started to accumulate evidence and evidence and evidence and evidence until I realized that just about everything we have known about him of those 21 years is essentially a lie. Then I said, let's go back and check in India. Now, he lived in India from 1915 to 1948. That's about 32 years. So then I said, let's go back, let's take a new look at it. That if this man has a history of hate, fomenting hatred, he must have brought the same elements here also. And that started a new investigation.
So what are the findings of your new investigation
New material
of
is
32
that-
years life
Yeah.
of Gandhi in India?
Gandhi in India, because keep in mind, we don't have Negroes in India. We don't have Negroes in India, but we have different communities, different nationalities, different religions. So that hate that he mastered against blacks began to filter into hate, fomenting poison into the politics of subcontinent, fomenting hatred of Hindus versus Muslims, fomenting hatred of castes, okay, and so forth and so forth. And it just kept going bigger and bigger and bigger. And nobody within the subcontinent, we had no understanding of him. And by this time, he was also Mahatma. He was considered a great religious leader, a messiah. But we had no understanding of him, actual understanding of him in South Africa.
But GB Singh ji, Gandhi ji was leading Congress, and Congress was known as a secular party. In that party, there was people like Dr. Ambedkar and people like Maulana Abul Kalam Azad, people like Vallabhji Patel, people like Nehru, all different people of different thoughts, different religion, ethnicities, they all were together under the command of Gandhi ji. That's why it was called a secular party.
First thing, and I just want to make sure, my study is in America. When I use the word secular, it has a different meaning to me. And that is, it means government has separation from church and state. When the government make policy, it is not based on religion. Government is neutral. Okay? That is secular, separation of church and state. That's secular. For some reason, we in the subcontinent, we warp that concept and use it very differently. So please, when you use the word secular, what do you have a meaning of it? What do you think it means to you?
The party,
Yes, what does that mean, secular?
the party which has no religious passage and that is open to all religious.
But that's not secularism.
Okay, to your understanding.
No, that's a Western concept.
Okay.
It's a Western
Okay.
established concept.
Let me rephrase my question. The Congress was a party which was open to all religious backgrounds. Okay. So then, what kind of hatred Gandhi promoted in India?
Okay, hatred is, for example, I'll give you one very big example. He had 3 nationwide satyagrahas, okay? The first satyagraha, basically, it had a devastating toll in Punjab. Let's take that out. second satyagraha, you remember satyagraha, it was a hydra-headed satyagraha in which he also involves Khilafat movement. And this is a movement Muhammad Ali Jinnah first time actually rebuked Gandhi for stirring up the Muslims. He's stirring them up for his political cause. And Mr. Jinnah is the first person to rebuke him, and of course he failed to stop him. So he started to foment them, just like in South Africa, it is the Gujarati Muslims who brought him over there. So he's able to handle and manipulate the Gujarati Muslims. So now in the subcontinent, he wants to manipulate the entire subcontinent Muslim, which are different varieties. So he is stirring up the Muslims for his cause. They come under his leadership, and he's a Hindu leader. Now, when you begin to foment such things, it has consequences. And the consequences, one of the consequences was that the poison started, he's also started to talk about Ram Rajya. Ram Rajya is not secular. He is telling very clearly the polity that he establishes would be based on his concept of Ram Rajya, which is ruler Ram, you know, the Ramayana god, okay, the god which is portrayed in Ramayanas. And that is not secular by any stretch of imagination. So he's doing this at one point, at other point he is fomenting this. At other point, he's also manipulating the untouchables.
But he used to live with the untouchables.
No, hold it. This is a huge difference. And then also he's also fomenting and manipulating the Sikhs. So there's a huge stuff going on, and in the process, he's establishing what we today call modern Hinduism is coming, which I mentioned in the lecture, that's coming up. Okay? And it's creating a problem, especially with the Muslims. Because Mr. Jinnah is happened to be right there, and he's watching these people, what is happening. And the tensions between Hindus and Muslim communities skyrocketing. Now he's saying he wants a unity, but by using these words and by using these ideas, he's also injecting poison into it. So on one hand, he's talking about unity, but right on the streets, there's a war going on.
But he was supporting the cause of Muslims, of Khilafat movement against the Britishers and the colonial powers.
You really realize, Khilafat movement or the Caliph, something happened in Ottoman Empire. This is a whole bunch of different variety, but this is a subcontinent. The subcontinent politics is different. Who gave him the authority to do that? No Muslim gave him the authority. Why is he pursuing it? He's pursuing it because he wants to control these dispersed variety of Muslim communities into his cause. And that cause could be different than also Khilafat. He wants to bring them under his umbrella, to use them as fit.
What do you see? How do you see why Gandhi has a tendency of hatred, as you are saying?
Hatred of USA?
Hatred, as you said that
he hatred, yeah.
Yes, he has a tendency of hatred. He used to hate the black people in South Africa, and same, according to you, he has practiced in 32 years life in India. So why he has that kind of tendency?
Hatred, the idea of hatred actually came from what we today call the caste system. When he went to see in the caste system, because the foundation of the caste is called Varna. Varna means skin color, essentially. So black people are considered at the low. So untouchables and the tribals are automatically in the caste system are considered at the low. So when he landed in South Africa and he saw the Negroes, by automatic association, the black people came at the very bottom. At the bottom in the caste system. So these Negroes came even at the very bottom. It doesn't matter who they are. If you're black skin, you're Negro, boom, you go down. So it's a impulse which is inbred within his religious or upbringing, the caste system, which he believed in the caste system. He believed in it very well. And it came out very evident even when he was in India. Okay? So there was a huge problem going on within the caste. There is a problem that he's using against caste each other, against religions, especially Muslims, especially. Even Sikhs. Sikh leadership fell under him. Okay? So there's a huge problems that he's manipulating. But he is a Mahatma in India.
व्यूअर्स वेलकम बैक नाजरीन गुफ्तगू हलंदड़ हुई डॉक्टर GB सिंह साहब सां GB सिंह साहब जे बारे में ॿुधायो त अमेरिका खां आयल स्कॉलर आहिनि ऐं हुननि काफ़ी रिसर्च कई आहे गांधी ते जंहिंखे हू महात्मा बि नथा चवण ॾियनि ऐं हुनजो चवण इहो आहे त हुनखे गांधी जी बि न चयो वञे छाकाणि त हुनजो जेको पर्सपेक्टिव जेको दुनिया में पेश कयो वियो आहे उहो सही न आहे उन हवाले सां असांजी गुफ्तगुनि सां हलंदड़ हुई अचो त उन गुफ्तगू खे अॻिते वधायूं Well, we restart our conversation, resume our conversation, Dr. GB Singh. So I have asked a question that what were the views of Gandhi about the religions, other religions of subcontinent such as Sikhism and Buddhism, Jainism. So
he did not consider, let's say for example, if I say I'm a Sikh, and let's say you're a Muslim and you say, I have an identity as a religious identity and I want to maintain that as an identity. He has a human right. Gandhi did not agree with that. Gandhi believed that all religions, especially Sikhism, Buddhism, Jainism, and including Islam and Christianity, are all part of Hinduism. So by that token, he has taken your right of identity. He's taken that away from you. You are a Hindu.
No, as far as Buddhism, because that is the continuity because of the Hinduism. It is perceived like that. But how he can say that Christianity and Islam were also...
Well, he can say anything. This is him. That's why you need to know what he is capable of and how he says these things and how he get away with it.
But what kind of basis he has to call all these religions?
No, you don't need a basis from Mahatma. His language, his tongue is sacred. When he opens his mouth, he's sacred. So he can say anything and get away with it.
So what do you think?
When you say Mahatma, when you call him a holy man, when you call him sacred, so when a sacred man opens his mouth and any nonsense he comes up with, it becomes sacred. So if he says all these religions and all these people actually are Hindus, well, that's sacred stuff. That's sacred pronouncement from a holy man. Now it is up to us to deny that.
But the rest of the world, why the rest of the world has not reacted on that?
No, the problem here is that the information that the rest of the world got, that information was selected PR. Selected public relation, and they made sure we only know so little of it, and we don't know the whole thing. So when we know so little of it, and those sound bites look so good, sound so good, we accept that. And we did not do our research, we did not do our homework, and that's why we became his victims.
So still I want to explore much about his 32-year life in India. How do you think he was working for the Britishers, or he has his own kind of Hindutva kind of thing? What was he?
Well, let me. There are some people who think he was a British agent. Now, if that means that he was being paid by the British to snoop on the people of India, British India at the time, I have not found any evidence that he was a bona fide spy of the British. I did not find any evidence. But by his actions, one can get an impression before 1919, when he switched, that before that, for almost 50 years of his life, he acts like an agent, as if he is working for the British Raj. He wants to have this colonialism. He wants to flourish colonialism. And he feels very proud of being a colonial subject. He wants to establish the Raj everywhere. So he by his action, because of his actions are such, that's why.
But you are saying that his actions till 1990.
1919, then he turned about face against the British. From there, we see him in a different image. But up to 1919, that is, he's 50 years old. His actions speak as if he is portraying himself as a personifier of the British Raj, colonizations. That's what he's doing, especially against black people. So that's why some people think he was an agent. I don't think he was a bona fide agent. I think he acted off like a Gangadeen. I think he was a Gangadeen type of a man. And in the process, he's just willing to hurt a lot of people. And he did hurt a lot of people.
So you think that was a Hindutva in his mind?
Well, Hindutva idea came in India while he was in India. Just like RSS was born in India while he was in India. These are all outgrowths of Gandhi Satyagraha movements. These are outgrowths, like RSS. The founder of RSS was a member of the Satyagraha. The second Satyagraha, which Muhammad Ali Jinnah castigated Gandhi, rebuked him. The same Satyagraha, the RSS founder was a member of it. And he grew out of that, not that he rejected it, he grew out of that, RSS movement came out of that.
So you mean to say that all the Hindu extremist line is created by Gandhi?
He's a instigator, let's put it that way. He's not the one who formally founded them, but he's an inspiration. He's an inspiration for that.
But according to the accounts, some accounts of the history, most of accounts of the history, he was killed by the Hindu extremists.
Well, let's put it that way. He was killed by Nathuram Godse, and I think there were 8 other people, including his younger brother Gopal Godse. Now, what we have been told that they were members of Hindu Mahasabha or RSS, that is true, that they were. But also what I have learned, because Gopal Godse, before he died, he sent me the material that his brother had written. And it appears, because they are dead, I cannot interview them, but it appears that they had, this group of 8 people, Maharashtra Brahmins, they had resigned their membership from Hindu Mahasabha and RSS. They found that out that these organizations were taking orders from Gandhi. That's what I found. I could never authenticate it because I couldn't find them because they were all dead. But the writings of Nathuram, that's what I learned, that these people actually had resigned their membership. And the reason they resigned it because they found that out, these extremist organizations were taking orders from Gandhi. So that gives you some link. Okay?
So that's why that was you are trying to explain that according to what was
Nathuram.
Nathuram. Nathuram, it was a reaction of the extremism.
They were trying to, according to what I've been told.
According to their account.
What they were doing was they felt that partition occurred because of him. That's one thing. Secondly, they felt that because he's Mahatma, he can mislead millions of Hindus into wrong directions, and the bloodshed will continue. Bloodshed between Hindus and Muslims and the Sikhs, and it will continue, and he will continue to do that. And they felt that in
But he was on the hunger strike to get all that bloodshed shut down.
Understand, look at this way. Put it from an angle, a man who is instigating it, and then he portrays himself as a man who is trying to stop it. You see, you have to you look at from the bigger angle. He is a man who's saying, I believe in religion's freedom, but yet he's also trying to do something else behind you, okay? You have to look at from a duplicity angle, that this man says something, just because he says something good, that doesn't mean that's actually he believes in it. Because in the very next moment, he could say totally different. So you need to address him from all angles, see what he's doing. Yes, he's doing hunger strike. He's doing all sorts of things. But is that really what happened? Or is there something more to it? He's also sleeping with young girls. Well, what do you make of that? He's sleeping with young ladies who are wives of his disciples. Well, what do you do with that? How do you handle that kind of a personality? So this is the time has come that we take a new look at this man. For all these years, for 21 years that he lived in South Africa, we find that he'd been lying to us. Something else was going on, and we accepted the lie.
On which accounts you are saying that he was sleeping with the girls?
It's very well known, very well documented. We have the names of the girls, we have the names of those wives that he used to sleep with, fully documented.
So now let us come to the partition.
Okay.
Partition. Some people say that it was Jinnah. Some people say it was Gandhi. Some people say no, it was Britishers. Some people say no, it was a historic course.
Well, but look, how about look at this way? How about we agree that it was something happened very big, and out of this khichdi, you can't just pick one thing out of it. If we pick one thing out, we make mistakes. So it is a complex things happened, and to understand the complexity, you have to look at it from a historical angle. Definitely, Mr. Gandhi is involved. We know that. He is a leader. He's a leader of the Congress Party. He has been involving with these campaigns. We know he is involved. We also know Mr. Jinnah has been opposing him right from the very beginning. Right from 1921 onward, he had been opposing him. Even during the time when he leaves London, he comes back renewed. There's something he's seeing. He saw something that kept him moving in the direction that these guys are dangerous. He saw something. He saw something, and we have not paid attention to that. What did he see? What was really going on with these Gandhians? What was that? Remember, Mr. Jinnah was also one-time member of the Congress Party. He resigned because of Gandhi's second satyagraha. Something was going on, and we had not done our homework in our understanding of the dimensions, what was going on. So it is a complex material. Of course the British are involved, of course. There's no doubt about it. So, but the disaster happened. Now we are trying to go back and trying to understand. And in order to understand, we must know Gandhi in his fullness.
Well, Dr. Ambedkar was untouchable.
Yes.
He was the principal author of the first Indian Constitution. And people say that Indian Constitution is based on secularism.
Okay, well, let me first correct you. Dr. Ambedkar is not the father of Indian Constitution, nor is he the architect of the Indian Constitution. It has been a lie given to us, and a lie has been very big. And a lot of people lie about it. So let's face that one fact. You know, my book came out just a few months ago. It's called The Constitution of India Simplified. The whole idea was to bring to the common person what is actually written in the Constitution. It is not based on secularism. It is not based on democracy. Face the reality here. When I say secularism, I mean from a Western sense, separation of church and state as a responsibility of the government. That is not the case in the Constitution.
But people say that.
I understand people say that. People say a lot of things.
But what kind of flaws you see?
I'll give you flaws. You look at, for example, you know you will call me a Sikh. Isn't that right? You call me a Sikh. I'm a member of a Sikh religion. I'm a member of followers of Guru Nanak. You know, by Indian Constitution, they declared me a Hindu. Indian Constitution, is that a right? Is that a fundamental right? To snatch away my identity? If I'm a Buddhist, if I'm a Jain, that's what they've done. So is that a fundamental right? No. It violates every individual fundamental rights as we understand those terms in a Western sense. Indian Constitution violates that.
But as far as per Indian Constitution, any person which has citizenship of the India, he can go up to any state or government level positions.
Well, okay, that's not a fundamental right. When we say fundamental rights, there are fundamental rights guaranteed, for example, right to speech, right to practice religion, right to travel, there are fundamental rights. Indian Constitution does not give that fundamental rights. At every given right, there's a contradiction right next to it. It snatches away the right. In one hand they give you, in the second hand they take it back. It's right in the Constitution.
But Dr. GB Singh, why the whole of the world calls India as the largest democracy of the world, including the country you have been?
Well, I can answer you very well. And you are right, that is a well-known phenomena. We call it world's largest democracy, and I agree with you. That's the way it is given. I give you 1998, if I remember it. There was an election coming up, and I was in touch with the State Department. And there was a gentleman, I'm not going to name him. He was the man at the State Department in America who was a scholar on India and Pakistan. So we were talking about it, and the gentleman, of course, referred to India as the world's largest democracy. So I asked the gentleman, I said, sir, that essentially means you read the Constitution of India. Has to be. Have you? And eventually he finally confessed, no. I said, sir, okay, so you have not read it. I would imagine you have never even seen what it looks like. He said, you're right, I never even seen it. I said, sir, you are the point man of America, American policy, and you have not read the Constitution, you have not seen the Constitution, but yet you call it world's largest. What do we make of you? I think it comes down to responsibility. We as human beings, we must read that Constitution before we say anything. You're an educated man. There are a lot of educated people here in Pakistan. There are a lot of educated people in India. We are blessed with that education, at least. We should be able to read it.
So in your paper, you have also accused Gandhi that he was responsible for the occupation of Kashmir, Goa, Hyderabad and other princely states. How can you, will you please
He blessed
differ?
the Indian army when they went to Hyderabad, when they went into Junagadh, and they went to Kashmir. He's the one who blessed the army. I mean, what else you need? I mean, the guy's blessing it, what else you need?
So don't you believe that he was a peace-loving man?
Well, when the guy is sending an army at you, an army is killing you, and you call him peace, well, then I think you better redefine the word.
As he has been portrayed in...
I understand portrayed, but whose fault is that? Ours. We as human beings take the responsibility and accountability. What did we do and what we did not do? We failed to do our homework, and we fell for it. We fell for a lie. Whose fault is that? It's ours. It's not Gandhi's fault, it's our fault. We failed to do our homework.
But you also said that it is not our fault, it is the propaganda machinery of the Indian
Oh, of course it is,
governments
but when you begin to
that
read-
is misleading the whole world, and they are trying to printing a lot of books on.
Yes, they do that, but still, देखो, the person, the responsibility that those guys who are doing to promote false ideas, falsehoods, they're going to do it. But we as people, as free people, independent people, grown-up people, educated people, we also have a responsibility to check. That's our responsibility. Why we fail to do it?
GB Singh ji, why any Western writer have not exposed so much Mr. Gandhi?
As I said, had I started this research, let's say 10, 15 years earlier, I probably would have missed it. This volume is so huge. Who has the time to read 50,000 pages? Who has the time to read 50,000 books? Nobody. The easiest thing to do is pick up his autobiography and just copy that. And once you do that, you fall for a lie right there. That's what is happening. We pick up his books that he wrote in India, not in South Africa, in India. And he told us these lies. And we accepted them and we promoted it.
What is the impact of Gandhi after his death on the Indian politics?
Well, keep in mind, he was the leader of the Congress party ever since he took over. Okay? And he stayed so essentially even when somebody else was running the party, but he's really the guy running the behind. Okay? So he had almost just about 30 years or slightly less to shape that party with his own ideology, which we call Gandhism. That ideology has seeped through the Indian political system. It doesn't matter which political party you are a Gandhian. And it will come through your policy. All you have to know is what it is, how to check it, how to smell it, how to detect it. You'll find it. Sadi, the problem we face is we're not trained in these things. We fall for the false ideas. We cannot check on them because we are not trained. But these Gandhian ideas, Gandhian philosophy is rampant within the Indian political system, irrespective of the party.
But in your paper, you also said that.
Oh, you mean in my speech?
Yes. You said that Nehru was also racist.
No, that's President Truman said. That's President Truman said that this guy, he just met him for a little bit, he recognized this guy is a racist. Now, you want to argue with President Truman? That's your call. But let me tell you, President Truman was a sharp, very, very sharp man. He had the ability to detect through you very fast what you're made up of. So I am the man who has tremendous respect for President Truman. Okay?
Not for Nehru.
Huh?
Not for Nehru.
No,
You
no,
don't
no.
have respect for Nehru?
I'm answering your question about the racism. That's what I'm talking. Okay? President Truman felt that this guy is a racist.
So you also said that the Indian politics after the partition till now, that is the Gandhi brand of politics.
That's right.
On both sides
Gandhi,
of the aisles.
exactly. No, not both sides, all sides.
Including the CP?
Yes, they're all Gandhians.
How can you say
Yes,
that?
I know. How is that possible? Yes.
So let us explain this thing.
It's easy. It doesn't matter if you are CPI, let's for the Communist Party of India. That doesn't mean they are following Leninism. That doesn't mean they are following Marxism. It's a name they have inherited. They think they know it, but they have really never studied Marxism-Leninism. They think they know a little bit. But in reality, even Mao ideas, they are Gandhians when it comes to practical side of the house. When it comes the real stuff out, is Gandhism comes out. Gandhism, as viewed by communists, It's amazing.
So
how-
Gandhi doesn't believe in answer.
Huh?
Gandhi doesn't believe in answer.
You mean non-violence?
Yes,
He does. You say, did he believe in it?
I'm asking
Oh,
you.
he talked about it, but when he came to practice, he practiced violence, left, right, center, all over.
So you were also referring his quote regarding atom bomb.
Yes, he laid the foundation for a nuclear bomb before he was assassinated.
It was foundation were laid by
Yeah,
Gandhi.
Yeah, yeah. He's the father of the nation.
Thank you very much,
You're
GB
welcome.
Singh, for your time.
Thank you, sir.
नाज़रीन, जंहिं माण्हू खे बर सग़ीर जे अंदरि महात्मा गांधी सम्झो वञे थो, उन गांधी जी जे बारे में हिकिड़ो नओं पर्सपेक्टिव GB सिंह साहब जेके पंहिंजो अमेरिका जी रियासत कोलोराडो में रहनि था ऐं उन्हनि रिसर्च कई आहे, स्कॉलर आहिनि, काफ़ी बुक लिखिया अथनि, उन्हनि जो पर्सपेक्टिव अॼु तव्हां ते पहुचायोसीं। यकीनी तौर ते हिकिड़ो डिफरेंट पर्सपेक्टिव आहे, पर अॼु जेको असांजो पेपर ॿुधोसीं हिते पंहिंजो हिन सेमिनार में, उनमें बि काफ़ी हुन एविडेंस पंहिंजे हुन स्लाइड्स ते शो कया ऐं हुन जेको किताबु आहे इंडियन कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन जे बारे में जेको लिखियो आहे, द इंडियन कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन सिंप्लीफाइड, आसान करे जेको उनखे पेश कयो वियो आहे, उन खे जवाब बि हुन कोट ॾिना आहिनि ऐं सॼो अकाउंट जेको आहे उहो रिकॉर्ड ते आहे। बहरहाल हीउ हिकिड़ो डिफरेंट पर्सपेक्टिव आहे जेको तव्हां ते पहुतो। प्रोग्राम जो वक़्तु पूरो थिए थो, पंहिंजे मेज़बान फयाज़ नाच खे इजाज़त सदाई गॾु।